What's up, you guys? Shades back here with another episode of Corvette Boys. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification. That way you guys know every time we post a video. And for you returning subscribers, what's up, you guys? We have a good one coming up here for you today. Most Corvettes, when they come out of the factory, whether it be C6, C5, or C7, the majority of them, even if you get them used, most times they'll have run flats on them. Sometimes they won't, depending on the person you got them from. Me, when I bought mine, it had run flats on it, so I stuck with the run flats. A lot of people, there's a debate whether run flats are good versus bad, and some people say, well, should I get run flats? You know what I mean? That way, if I get a flat, I'll be safe, you know, or should I get, you know, the softer tires, the regular ones, but if you run into any kind of emergency or anything like that, I'm kind of stuck. I'm going to break down the pros and the cons for me, from a guy that has run flats, and from other people in the Corvette Boys that also do not have run flats. I believe there's half of us have run flats and half of us don't, actually, now that I think about it. I have run flats, Big West have run flats, the Ghost doesn't have run flats, and JP doesn't have run flats. So from my perspective, half of us have run flats and half of us don't have run flats. So I'll be able to definitely give you a breakdown of the pros and the cons of both. When it's cold out here in Jersey, and as you can tell right now it's cold, and if you're in Jersey it seems like it's always cold, you can't run these tires. Well, you're not supposed to run them, but you know, we run them under 35 degrees. I believe it's 35 or 32 if I'm not mistaken, and if it's any colder than that, you're not supposed to run these tires. For the pro side, if you're going to be a long distance driver, like we have some guys in different Corvette clubs that go all the way up to like upstate New York, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and do like 100, 200 miles. If you're a long distance driver, you don't have to worry about it because you can drive up to 50 miles. Some people may push it to, I've heard, 100 miles almost to get to, you know, an auto shop to where they'll replace the tire and put a patch in it. Don't have run flats. You have to have some kind of emergency kit. Some guys carry plug kits with them. Could put a plug in the tire. That's the one that I would recommend if you don't have run flats and you know you run into some kind of trouble. But if you run into like a sidewall and it bursts on the sidewall, you're going to be in trouble, especially if you're going at a high rate of speed. The car will most likely, you know, some crazy things can happen with the car. It could do anything. You can end up crashing. But I've heard a story where a guy had his tire blow out on the highway, and he had run flats, and of course, because of the harder carcass, he was able to slow down and change his tires out at the nearest tire shop and get new ones. If you're tracking the car, I wouldn't put run flats on the car. That's a given right there. So if you're a guy that's going to be tracking the car, if you're a guy that's going to be going to the track a lot, doing street races, don't tell anybody, I wouldn't put run flats on the car. That's an obvious one because, you know, run flats are a lot harder carcass. They take a lot longer for those tires to heat up, and they don't heat up as well as, like I said, as your Nitos, as your Michelin Pilots. Michelin Pilots makes run flats as well, but they also have a version that's not run flats. So they're not going to heat up as well as that. So if you're talking about tracking the car, if you're talking about doing races, I wouldn't put run flats on it. And as well as, even if you're like more of an around town Sunday driver and you don't really go too far and you're always pretty much within, you know, city limits where you can go to another, you know, you can have a buddy meet you and you could work on getting the tire to somewhere, or just pull over on the side of the road and get the tire off and taking it to a shop. If that's something that you're willing to do and take a risk on, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? But even with the non-run flats that we have on the other cars, we haven't really ran into too many flats. Some guys are prone to a lot of flats and a lot of nails. I don't know if it's depending on their area or not, but we didn't have that problem. I think the Ghost has picked up in the last few years, one or two times that we had to get new tires and stuff. But other than that, it really wasn't that bad. Now, if you're really coming down to the decision of it, it's really on personal preference. Do take in mind that they are more expensive for run flats. Until next time, thank you guys for staying with me and hearing me out on my opinion with the run flats versus non-run flats. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification. That way you know when we make another video. Until next time, we're out.